Over the past few years, the idea of machine learning has become something we hear a lot about, and frankly, it's all over the place in our day-to-day lives. Whether we're using virtual personal assistants like Google Home, looking at our phone for traffic predictions, getting the people you may know alerts from Facebook, or just doing a Google search, the ML experience is becoming more common for everyone. But for something that's already ingrained in our lives, what do we really know about it? Are you making the rules for the machine, or is your data learning the rules for you? Can we actually see machine learning working somewhere? And what the heck does that even look like? I'm Austin from the Botkeeper team, and today we're going to dive into the concept of machine learning and how we're leveraging it for bookkeeping automation here at Botkeeper. Along the way, we'll get to see just how powerful machine learning can be at deriving meaning from millions of data points and yielding valuable insights. We see machine learning all around us in the products we use today. However, it isn't always apparent that machine learning is behind it all. Generally, ML can be a pretty staggering concept for most folks, but those working within the tech space are getting a first-hand experience as to just how vital it is. Without machine learning, there's a lot that wouldn't be possible, such as face recognition, email spam filtering, cybersecurity, social media experiences, and more. And this is only demonstrating a few of its capabilities. Realistically, the value of machine learning is just beginning to manifest itself, and this will only continue to grow over the years to come. So let's take a look at the accounting landscape and where machine learning factors in. Traditionally, humans have been the keepers of data. Using the accounting industry as an example, bookkeepers and accountants would typically do a lot of manual entry and processing. A business would generate hundreds to thousands of financial transactions through the natural course of growth. The bookkeeper was responsible for capturing all of those transactions, ensuring they're complete, and correctly coding them within the general ledger. Then, the accountant would leverage that data to advise the business owner, do the tax preparation, and guide their operations, which was, of course, totally reliant on those clean and correct books. So let's take a second to break that process down and look at just one example of where automation can exist for your firm. The bookkeeper would first need to pull up their client credentials to access their accounts, log into their client's bank accounts and pull relevant statements, and then categorize the hundreds of lines of data into the GL. To quantify this a bit, we know that getting to those statements can take around 3 to 5 minutes per client, and it can take anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes to categorize just one transaction. And when you have a few clients, you can do this by hand. Once a month, per client, you'll log into their general ledger, look through each account and the transactions that have been coded for it. If something doesn't pass the sniff test, you investigate it, maybe by asking the business owner, researching how a transaction was treated in the past, for example. But wait a second, that's not all of it. Realistically, we can assume that each client has anywhere from 4 to 10 bank and credit card accounts, which means we could be spending around 20 to 50 minutes per client on logging into their accounts alone. And of course, most firms don't just have a handful of clients, they have dozens or hundreds or more. That means a firm with 30 clients could be losing 10 to 25 hours on grabbing statements. A firm with 100 clients could be losing 33 to 83 hours. From there, we'd add 1 to 3 minutes per transaction. That's a lot of minutes. And this is before doing a final review for accuracy or making potential adjustments needed by the client. Lastly, we need to take the basic real-life considerations into play, like the fact that humans don't work 24 hours per day. They get tired, they make mistakes, and can forget things. And although there are some tools and integrations out there aiming to help with these steps, they're typically not very accurate, or they're built on basic rules that need to be manually updated over time. These scenarios are certainly not ideal and can end up resulting in more time being put toward fixing mistakes or worse, cause client disruption. Ouch. So how are firms getting by today? It turns out that a lot of firms find themselves stuck between doing a watered-down version of the categorizations process, risking the overall quality of the books, or they're forced to start throwing even more expensive manpower at it. And as important as the process is, categorizing is only one piece to getting the bookkeeping done. There's still plenty more to do until you're able to close the books and properly leverage that data to advise your business client. Ultimately, what we realize is that, at a certain scale, a task taking even 5 minutes per client just won't be sustainable. So, to address the challenge of the volume of data in bookkeeping that goes beyond the ability for humans to easily process and make sense of with manual steps, Botkeeper built technology that can work with the data at scale and even adapt to a changing landscape. But how do we here at Botkeeper make this happen? With thousands of clients, how do we scale our operations, provide clean and complete books without dropping quality and keeping costs in check? You guessed it, machine learning. Before we take a peek under the hood, you might be wondering, what is Botkeeper? Botkeeper is a human-assisted AI and ML platform that automates bookkeeping for accounting firms. This means we use a pretty great combination of people and technology to work with our firm partners to provide the highest quality bookkeeping services to their clients, allowing the firm to offload the data entry and focus on their priorities. Back to the ML. One area that Botkeeper uses ML is in automating categorization and classifications of transactions. Botkeeper's ML engineers have taught our machines to learn how to recognize transactions using a combination of both client-specific and global models. We use these models to help correctly code transactions, as the business owner generates them over the course of the month. The client transaction model looks at the individual client's transaction history and tries to predict how a new transaction should be treated. In the event the individual model has not seen a similar transaction previously, the global transaction model then looks across the millions of transactions processed by all Botkeeper clients to either make a prediction for how to code a transaction or enhance the confidence associated with an existing prediction from the client-specific model. These two models work to enhance and complement each other, thereby providing the highest possible degree of accuracy. These models are further comprised of two subsequent conceptual elements. 1. An individual client and global neural network trained on all Botkeeper's client data. 2. A search codex built on some of the textual data. In concert, these components enable the model to effectively ask two questions. 1. Given all the data that we've extracted from this client's transactions over time and all the data we've extracted from all other clients' transactions over time, what is the most likely predicted category? 2. Find me transactions that look most similar to this one. At its core, machine learning is effectively lots and lots of matrix algebra under the hood, and the machine is looking to learn patterns. The first question informs the ML of statistical patterns that it can infer from history, while the second helps with new emerging patterns that are just beginning to form. Combined, this allows us to predict the majority of transactions we see processed by a company. We continue to optimize existing models while also layering in additional and competing models to progress the accuracy of predictions each month. In addition, the machine learning models continue to learn from incremental data processed each month by both existing clients on the platform and from new clients' additional data added to the platform. Thus, as time passes and Botkeeper's client base grows, the efficiency of the models continues to improve. Unlike the traditional manual processes, we can use various applications of ML to scale, whether we're supporting 1,000 clients or 100,000 clients. The incremental cost for storing and using ML is negligible compared to the amount of human capital a firm would need to sustain the same output. Another area that Botkeeper uses ML is for the month-end close process and quality assurance. Here, another set of models conducts an automated QA review of each client's books before they are delivered to our accountant partner and subsequent client. The concept itself is very similar to what a bookkeeper or accountant would be doing manually at the end of each month, looking for suspect outliers. Typically, it takes a human bookkeeper 3 to 4 minutes to log in, before even starting the review process of a given client. Spoiler alert, you are about to watch Botkeeper's machine learning do a whole lot more in 3 to 4 minutes. What you are seeing is Botkeeper's ML log in to 1,000 clients' accounts, review hundreds of thousands of transactions, flag suspicious transactions, and output recommendations at an alarming speed of 500 plus transactions per second. Compare that to the same 3 to 4 minutes a bookkeeper would spend just logging in, not to mention the additional 1 to 3 minutes per transaction needed to do the review. It's no wonder why more and more accounting firms are supercharging their practice with Botkeeper. And a fun fact is that the transactions you just saw the QA model review were transactions previously predicted and coded by the client transaction model and the global model. Yep, you heard that right. One machine is evaluating the work of other machines, similar to how your manager might peer over the shoulders of you and a colleague, review your work, and call attention to some possible mistakes, only much less awkward. In this example, when the QA model identifies a transaction as having either no prediction or a prediction that could be incorrect, it is flagged and sent to our partner accounting firm for review. It's important to note that this doesn't mean the transaction's current category is wrong. There are plenty of reasons why the QA model might disagree with the current transaction category. More specifically, our system is saying, of all the transactions we processed this month for this client, if there was something wrong, it would likely be these few. We like to think of this piece comparable to finding needles in a haystack. Except, instead of looking at thousands of pieces of individual hay, one after another, the machine narrows that pile down to 10 pieces of hay, making it much easier to find the needle. From there, all an accounting professional would have to do is pop into their Botkeeper platform to confirm or correct the flagged transactions and quickly close the books, thereby allowing accountants who use Botkeeper to treat significantly fewer transactions and reclaim countless hours, better position their internal resources, and grow their firms with their newfound capacity. Furthermore, the ML never stops learning as it continues to collect data, capture changes or adjustments, making it even more accurate over time. It doesn't forget, become distracted, or take vacation time. In a world where we are surrounded by data, we know that the data needed to give us the real-time picture of a business has certainly always been there. But we as human beings doing manual work didn't have the ability to get to it, organize it, and utilize it in a meaningful way in real time. Plus, it's impossible for humans to recall every transaction category across their clients forever. Fortunately, ML doesn't have these same limitations and can recall an indefinite amount of data indefinitely. As ML rapidly evolves, we're only a few short years away from true, real-time financial health. It won't be long before the idea of a monthly close will be an archaic concept. As we shift into a very new data-driven landscape, the work we do today in the collection and teaching of the machine with data will contribute to and even accelerate that reality. It's a pretty exciting concept. So, a fun question to ask yourself might be, where are the areas I can apply machine learning in my firm now, and what might that mean for my business in the coming years? And that's a wrap. We hope that you enjoyed this overview of machine learning, its application and value here at Botkeeper. We look forward to leaping into the future alongside you. To learn more about Botkeeper, visit botkeeper.com.